I emphasize these people because I believe it's monumentally important when it comes to solutions. And what I'm going to say now, you should listen to like you've never listened to anything else in your life. Because it's very, very important for the people you know, for yourself, and for the people that you're going to meet every day, especially in the coming years. Because everybody's talking about breakdown, everybody's talking about losing the thread, everybody's talking about their depressions. What happens if those depressions, if those feelings of futility, anxiety, whatever, are the closest you or that person have ever been to true selfhood? But that part of the mind, conditioned by all this pestilence that we've been talking about, is making you think that it's not. What happens if your depression is your best friend and your greatest teacher? And we went into this in the 2012 talk in Los Angeles. Mentioned it in brief. What happens if your tragedy, your pain, your anxiety, your angst is the closest you have ever come, or that person who's giving you those problems, that laundry list of how they can't handle it, can't keep the job, can't keep the marriage, as if that's all normal? They can't find the harmony and the normality in an abnormal, deeply sick world? Do you know that the door to reality, the gate, is incredibly narrow? I don't want to become biblical with you here. I don't want to preach a sermon, but the way out of this maze is extremely narrow. It's very hard. We're talking very serious stuff here. And we have to turn around, right, and re-examine a lot of what we've been told, even by a lot of the psychologists and the doctors and the so-called experts. What happens if those dark voices that you think are so alien and so foreign and so ghastly are actually there because this is the first time in your life that you've actually even approached the shrine of your own selfhood, your own aloneness, your own stillness? But the chorus of all that other stuff and all the chorus of the experts has you completely thinking the opposite. And so it's big pharma now, and it's drugs, and it's futility, and it's even suicide. Or it's immersion in all the other falseness of the world, thinking that you're now returned to sanity. Now Heidegger already said this about our consciousness, the inauthentic and the authentic man. Because the pain and the so-called tragedy that comes with authenticity has its own beauty. It's in the running away from all of these aspects of yourself that's when the problems arise. In talks of people like myself, we're forever pointing out that there's an external adversary. We just spent 2 hours doing it. But the negotiation of that external adversary and all of its elements and all of its arsenal is really only 50% of the extraction process. It's a very valuable aspect. But as a matter of fact, there are 2 demons that stand between you and the road of selfhood or the road of truth. 2 demons, and one is the internal adversary. So those who leave that aspect out, leave out the psychology, are only helping you somewhat, because you have the external adversary to fend off and become aware of and study and disempower, but you also have this thing inside yourself, the mind, the ego, the conditioning. You see, all the vices that they put there. The anti-psychologists are basically telling you, look, you think that if you live in this world, being a self is almost considered a disease. Well, as a matter of fact, it is. The search for your own selfhood has become the ultimate disease. So everything else that leads you away from selfhood has been endorsed by the world. And so now the world is screaming for down with Big Brother, and Illuminati must be destroyed.